What's up, disc golfers? Joe here for Joe's Disc Golf. And I've got plenty of things to talk about today. So many things to talk about today. It's been pretty crazy here. Talking about so many fun things, including the DGPT All Star weekend. We've got that coming up. Got some fun tips for practicing in the winter as well as some movement. We finally know where Catrina Allen has landed. It has been a month, and we had no idea where she was going. We had no clue whatsoever where she was going, where she was headed, what she was doing, how she was doing, when she was doing. I think that covers all of the questions, all the W's, the who, what, when, where, how, and why. Why she was doing. We don't know why. I mean, we probably have an idea why. Money, moolah, dinero, Robert De Niro. Where was I going? I don't know. But I'm here, recording in the studio, recording in the basement. A little bit later than anticipated. Things aren't getting out quite on time like I'd hoped. And if I sound like I'm a bit rushed, well, I'm trying to talk really fast and trying to get everything in that I really want to talk about, including talking about the All-Star weekend that's coming up here in just a couple weeks. It is actually right around the corner here, February 11th through the 13th. I believe that is the same weekend as the Super Bowl. You can't say the real words there, so I'm calling it the Bowl because, I don't know, it's probably going to be two crappy teams I don't care about because the Bears, they suck, and the Bears didn't make the playoffs, but the Cheddarheads screwed it up on TV. Screw the Cheddarheads. That's what I got to say about that. Okay? That's about it there. I mean, you know, that is what it is. This isn't a football podcast. This is a disc golf podcast, and we have to talk about our sponsor, Log. What rolls downstairs a loner in pairs rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and it fits on your back? It's Log, Log, Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's Log from Blammo. And we also have our other, usual anchor podcast here. That spot is going to go right here. And we're back. For those of you on YouTube watching, you did not have an ad at all there. And you just saw me stand here and stare at the camera awkwardly for about 2 seconds. But, that's just how things go here. Sorry, my headphone cord is getting all tangled up here, and I'm, it's getting kind of in the way. And that's just no fun. But that, that's just how life goes, I guess. So many fun things going on here. Haven't really gotten out to play all that much. Did play around at a local course here last week. And you lose it fast. I struggled. I did not do all that well. The score that I got looked all right, but it felt really bad. It was one of those rounds where you're going through and you're just sitting there going, man, this round is awful. I can't hit a shot to save my life. And then you finish and you're like, oh, I shot like 4 down. All right, that wasn't bad. No bogeys, but it just didn't feel good. It was one of those where I'm just like, I'm scrambling my butt off here. I'm throwing a shot, hitting first available, and then my second shot is an amazing shot and ends up in the circle at least, or back of the circle. Or I have a few where I'm just like, cool, that's great. I just landed behind a tree. And it's a big enough tree where I can't even straddle out to have a look at the basket, to even get a chance to maybe do something with that. But c'est la vie. That's just how it goes. And that's just the way things go here in Fort Fun, as we like to call it in this area. But, oh, man, those winter disc golf tips, it's hard. Coming out, hopefully, with a couple different series here in my free time. So hopefully, before the end of the year, I will be able to get a video series on some shoulder exercises you could do to, one, help strengthen and improve your game, and 2, prevent injuries, which will help keep you out on the course. And things that you can do as a warm-up, as a cool-down, and as just strengthening exercises to really get that shoulder nice and strong and able to play longer and be able to go out and play later in life, not just longer per day, but get out there and be able to do more and be able to play better, have better control, have less or no shoulder pain. Honestly, your shoulder should feel sore after a round. Maybe not should. After a tournament, your shoulder's going to feel sore. And there is a big difference between feeling sore and feeling hurt. Sore happens. You get sore muscles. It happens. You have a good workout. You have a good round. You're going to be sore. Hurt is not good. Hurt is pain that you're feeling all the time, no matter how long ago you played last. And that's not good, where you should really go get that checked out by a qualified medical professional, a doctor, an athletic trainer, something like that, where you're sore, maybe see a massage therapist where, they can help you out, they can make you feel better. Like massage is great. Chiropractics are great. And they're a underutilized recovery technique. But what I hope to share with you is some techniques that you can do at home at any time for minimal cost of money, if anything else. I do recommend certain brands of elastic bands because that's stuff that I use at my job all the time. And I've seen a lot of the brands, and I could tell you that spending the little bit extra on the slightly nicer brand is going to save you so much money in the long term. Because while you may not be using it a lot and might not see a huge difference, that might be the difference between your band lasting 6 months versus 5 months. But for me, it's lasting 2 weeks versus a month. And I mean, the bands that I use at work get used every single day, multiple times a day. So that's kind of the difference there. And high school kids aren't as good with taking care of my stuff as you would be taking care of your stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going there. Also looking at getting a YouTube's shorts series, so less than a minute long, of rules explainers. Came up with the idea, and then I listened to the PDGA radio podcast and found out they're doing something very similar because there are some significant rule changes here. You'll say I copied it. I have no way to prove that I came up with the idea. We probably both came up with the idea at the same time. Honestly, every disc golf, maybe not every disc golf YouTuber, a lot of the disc golf YouTubers talk about the rules and talk about that. I want to give a nice condensed, concise rules explanation so that, if you have questions out on the course and the way the rule is written doesn't necessarily make sense to you, I want you to be able to pull up one of my shorts that explains how the Mando rule works now, kind of thing. And in 30 seconds, you have your answer and you move on and you do your thing and we're all good. Because let's face it, you could try to figure something out. You could do a provisional, you could do whatever, and then you can go and just go, all right, well, I think we'll do this, we'll do that, and it'll be way longer than a minute. And then you have to try to find the TD after, maybe you find them during, and it's just a huge mess, and I'd rather just try to help you guys out. But yeah, that's about that. See how that goes, again, in my free time, because I still have things to do like work, the job that actually pays me money, and spend time with my wife and daughter, and all that fun jazz. Speaking of jazz, let's talk about Catrina Allen. No idea what that has to do with anything, but she finally announced where the hell she's going. And I say it like that, I don't know why. But it feels like this announcing an announcement is annoying, but it was also a little nice because I'm not sitting there wasting extra brain energy going, all right, whatever. Like Tuesday, I'm like, cool, or wait until Wednesday. I don't care, because she announced on Monday she was making her announcement on Wednesday. It is now Friday. I would like to announce that I'm going to make an announcement about an announcement on Monday. So just to let you guys know, to be waiting for that announcement of the announcement for the announcement of something big happening here. But that's, just how I feel about that. No clue on any type of money. I mean, Drew Gibson hinted at saying like it was a big deal. She got a lot of money, or she got what she deserved. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like we're kind of at this point where the top players, MPO, FPO, if they don't announce, it wasn't as good as we think. And, you know, maybe she's earning a ton of money, and maybe she is getting what she does deserve, and maybe it's more of a royalty-based setup. I mean, who knows? I really don't know. It's pretty crazy there. I mean, we have no idea. She's barely kind of talked about. She's been practicing for the last month with some of the discs. Innova makes DGA's discs, so it's not uncommon for some DGA players to throw a handful of Innova discs. I would be shocked if Catrina Allen did not throw a handful. I mean, maybe they're going to be stamped with whatever DGA logos, and you don't technically know, but you're going like, no, dog, that's a Destroyer. That's a Shrike. That's a whatever. I don't know. Whatever hole is in the DGA lineup that Catrina Allen wants, but then they're going to stamp it, you know. Kind of like, not necessarily in the same vein, but, you know, the same idea as like Nico putted with Wizards forever, even though he was not with Gateway. And, you know, they just put stamps over it, which is a little shisty, but hey, it is what it is. And that's how we go right there. That's how it is. That was not the only move this week. Catrina Allen, oh God, I'm looking at Catrina Allen's name. Cynthia Riccotti has left Dynamic Discs. She spent the last 4 years with Dynamic Discs as her title sponsor. She is leaving to go to Discraft, I believe it was. I'm trying to go off the top of my head here, but I could go to the handy dandy Joe's Disc Golf Pro Tracker here and look that up. But she will be no longer with Dynamic Discs, where she won her 2018 Junior Worlds title. The things that I remember, the things that stick out in my mind as I'm waiting for my page to load, just the things that I you know, that come to mind right there is stuff like that. But I believe it was Discraft that she's going to. She will continue her tour this year, continue to hit up all these different spots, and try to, Discmania. Sorry, Cynthia Riccotti to Discmania. She'll be touring around this year with Kyle Klein, hitting up all the Pro Tour stops, and hopefully things are going to go well for her. She is an up-and-coming star. She did pretty well this year. She had a B-tier win, couple top 1 or 2 top 10 finishes, and then a pretty solid top 20 finishing here. Someone to kind of keep on the watch out for. Did not have her on my list as I look through notes of the past here. I don't have her in my top 10, but she's still someone who's really, really good. She had this to say: I couldn't be more excited to announce that I'll be representing Discmania for the 2022 season. Assumedly, this is a 1-year deal. The partnership is something that I feel fits me very well, and I am beyond eager for the season to start. As I reflect on the last 4 years with Dynamic Discs, I think of all the moments that shaped who I am as a disc golfer. But as I continue my journey and my career, it's important to explore new avenues and better opportunities. So it sounds like she's not too happy with whatever deal that Dynamic Discs would have given her financially, and Discmania made a better offer. I mean, it's a great ad. Discmania is still a little light on the FPO side. I made this comment. I believe I said it on the Half in the Bag podcast. I was very doubtful that Catrina Allen would have went to Discmania. Not that I don't think it would have been a good fit. I don't think Discmania has the money to afford her because of paying Kyle Klein, Eagle McMahon, and Simon Lizotte. I think those three are pretty heavy in terms of their contract, and maybe not Kyle Klein yet, but Kyle Klein is going to be commanding, be in a position to ask for a lot more money when his contract is up. So who knows? I mean, And Discmania could be just looking ahead and going, well, these three guys, Eagles' contract's coming up, Kyle's contract, Simon's contract. We don't want to expose ourselves to more risk than we're willing to tolerate. And taking Catrina Allen on would be a financial risk. Just in terms of like, hey, we have a lot of people that we need to pay, and we don't want to overextend ourselves. And it's the same kind of calculus you do when you're looking at your own budget. You're like, all right, I want to buy, these 10 discs, but if I buy all 10 of them, I won't be able to afford the gas to get to work to get more money to do that. I'm just pulling random things out of my head right here where you're like, okay, well, if I could buy 4 now, and then I could go to work and I could get more money, and then I could get to the tournament, and then I can maybe get some funny money where I could get these couple other discs, and so on and so forth. We all do this all the time. We're like, all right, do I want to buy, I don't know. Do I want to buy the name brand bread, or do I want to buy the slightly cheaper off-brand bread? It's all bread and it's all made the same. Who cares? So they're kind of looking at this going, we need to make sure that we're financially sound, because if we go belly up, then guess what? Eagle, Simon, Kyle, the rest of the tour team, the rest of the people who work for Discmania are all out of a job, and Discmania is that Vibram where you're like, hey, anybody got any of those cool discs? Those were cool. That was fun. That was fun while it lasted, even though Vibram's kind of getting back into it. I don't know. Just kind of rolling with that right there. And, those were the big announcements. There are a handful of people who got moved up from, a low-level touring team to mid-level to the top tier, that kind of stuff. Like Kyle Klein got moved from, I forget what, to the top level. I cannot recall what everybody calls their top-level tour teams and their next level down. He got called up to the pros, is what I'll call it. I'm gonna go with baseball. He moved up from AAA to pro, to the MLB. And they've got, everybody's got their AAA and their AA. There's no real pro team single A. I mean, I guess you can count the local pros as single A, where they have a chance, but it's not that great. Especially, some of the older pros where it's like, well, yeah, not everybody's Scott Stokely who can do that. But we got plenty more to talk about here. Segueing into the All Star event. The All Star event that is coming up here in about 2 weeks. And it's going to be exciting. They have the lists posted of everybody who will be there. And we've got on the FPO side, we're doing a draft. There's a draft, everybody. If you didn't know, there's the draft for the men's and women's All-Star event. They're doing it kind of like the NBA. They're going to live stream. Apparently, they're going to live stream the draft and see all this stuff. And there are 3 main events: a distance competition, a putting competition, and an accuracy competition. And at the time of recording, there are no detail. I mean, distance is pretty straightforward. It's like throw the disc that way, far. How far can you throw the disc? Putting, is there going to be stuff in the way? Is it going to be a time thing? Like, how many putts can you make in 2 minutes from certain distances worth certain points? Accuracy, same thing. Are we trying to throw it 200 feet and drop it in a 10-foot circle? Are we trying to throw it, 300 feet but hit a specific line? We don't know. So that'll be some of the fun stuff. But then they'll be doing a doubles tournament and then a best shot doubles. They're not doing that weird crap from last year where it was best shot and then worst shot. But they're going to do a best shot doubles, and then they're going to do individual. There are a total of 12 points up for grabs, and you can win a point for winning your competitions here, as well as winning the doubles and winning that. And then everybody gets a cash bonus for the winning team. It sounds like all the players that are going are getting put up in a really nice resort in Tucson, where they had the Arizona State Disc Golf Championship. It's on a golf course. So no word on exactly how that is. I can't imagine that it would be too different of a course layout than what the Arizona State Championship had. maybe a little bit tougher, but generally speaking, if you can find any coverage, any info on that, my assumption, because we know nothing at this point in time of recording, next week when I'm talking about this, it could be completely different. I don't know. But it could be, it's probably going to be similar. Why reinvent the wheel? Just improve on it a little bit. So as of right now, we have, and this is just the order. This is not an order of how they were listed. This is an order of how I sorted it, which I will get into that because I'm doing a mock draft. Mock draft time. But our captains are Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen. This is a snake draft. And we have Kona Panis, Sarah Hokum, Haley King, Jessica Wiese, Missy Gannon, Rebecca Cox, Deanne Carey, Owen Scoggins, Lisa Fakis, and Heather Young. Now, I did a whole mock draft, and I'm assuming because Paige is number 1, Catrina's number 2, in this snake draft, Paige will get the first pick, Catrina will get 2 and 3, and we, snake back and forth. So I tried to figure out who would go in what spot, as well as who would be picked first and what's going on here. And, it was kind of a guessing game as to who would do what. I put, for the captain's sake, I had Paige putting herself in the distance category. I believe that she would give a pretty solid effort to win that, and I think she's pretty confident that she would win that. Catrina, I have her putting herself at the accuracy. One thing I didn't notice, and Catrina Allen's putting percentage this year, not that great. Her accuracy would probably be the best, and I think that's what she would work on the most with her new DGA discs, because we had no idea. When I made this list, I still had no idea when this was going to happen. So I have her going in the accuracy contest. She is pretty solid thrower. She has an OB rate of .078 and a fairway hit percentage of 74. So she's pretty solid there. Paige is not the best putter, but definitely one of the top putters. One of the best for accuracy. Her OB rate, although her OB rate is kind of high at a .12. So that's kind of rough there. That's why I put her in distance. Again, we don't know, is it just straight up distance, or are you going to have to keep it within a 60-foot fairway? I don't know. That's still decently wide, but you get the point. We don't know many details, so some of this is guesswork. So I have, in terms of accuracy, I have Paige picking Kona first. Bold prediction there. And this isn't necessarily where I think players are going to go in terms of, who's going to be first, who's going to be second, third, fourth, all that kind of stuff. I just kind of went through. I was like, okay, I'm Paige, and I'm thinking, all right, distance. I'm trying to go through and go how, fantasy football works for me and what I'm thinking of. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got distance locked down. I want to win something else. And honestly, Paige could also throw herself in putting. But I thought, all right, I'm going to take Kona for accuracy. And then I try to put myself in Catrina's mind and put her in that position and go, okay, so what do I want to do? How do I want to go about this? Do I want to try to go for, try to match and take somebody else? Do I want to try to take some, what is my strategy? And so I decided that I would take the best putter available, one of the best putters available, which is Owen Scoggins. 84% from Circle 1X, 15 from Circle 2. Her fairway hit percentage is nothing special in this group. It's still really solid at 63%, but in this group, 63 kind of puts her towards the bottom, honestly. And her OB rate is fine. It's a .098. It's not the worst, kind of puts her in the middle. Or sorry, it's a .112. I'm looking at the wrong. I can't even follow a spreadsheet here, man. It's just one of those days. Trying to get through this, trying to do this. So I have her picking Owen because, again, Catrina has 2 picks back-to-back, snake draft here. So honestly, it really doesn't matter if she picked this person or if she picked Owen first or if she picked Heather Young first. Also, an incredibly talented putter right there. You take both of those. Heather Young is the best putter in that group from Circle 1. She's tied with Own at 84%, but she is much better at her Circle 2 percentage at 19%. One of the best Circle 2 putters. Her fairway hit percentage, bottom of the barrel in terms of this group, again, 62%, but her OB rate is .072, one of the better ones. I thought that, if I'm Catrina Allen, I'm going to take Heather and Own just so Paige doesn't get her. Get them. It's one of those kind of things. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I've got the putt. It's, you're taking, in fantasy football, it's a snake draft. You're taking the number 1 and number 2 quarterback out there because, I want number 1 and I don't want you to have number 2 kind of thing. And so you could, by the numbers, Heather Young, number 1, Owen Scoggins, number 2, that's how I'm looking at it. And then we go back to Paige, her number 2 and 3 picks here. I have her taking Missy Gannon and putting her in putting. Missy is the next best putter available at 78% from Circle 1X and 14% from Circle 2. Pretty solid. Her OB rate is also a .082 with fairway hits at 68%. Pretty solid. I'm not saying that she has to be a putter, but I'm saying that she's pretty solid at the puttering. And then her number 3 pick is kind of another way to look at this is Paige trying to win the accuracy. I think Sarah Hokum is deadly accurate with that forehand. Again, we don't know what kind of distances we're talking about. What does accuracy mean? Do you have some, water bottles set up at 100 feet and you're trying to see how many you can hit? Are you trying to land it in a specific zone? Are you trying to get it to stop? So there is some guesswork on my end, is what I'm trying to say. And so Sarah Hokum for accuracy, Kona and Sarah, Kona's putting is atrocious. And I mean that with all sorts of love. It is going to get better. She's definitely working hard on it, but just going off of last year's numbers, she is the worst putter in this group at 54% from C1X, 5% from Circle 2. She's only slightly better than Jessica Wiese, who is 58% and 7%. And Kona Panis is amazing with the driver. She is so good at placing her shots. So moving back to Catrina Allen, her number 3 and 4 picks. I have her taking Haley King and putting her in distance because that is going to give her the best shot of winning the distance. Haley King has got a big arm. I could easily see Paige trying to take Haley as well. Just so, again, it's one of those things where it's Paige has got the bigger arm, but, if you get 3 throws and you mess up, you could have those moments where you're just wow, I forgot how to throw a disc for 3 throws for whatever reason. Paige has an off day. Haley has an off day. Somebody has an off day. It could be a surprise. I have Haley going there because her putter's pretty good at 73% and 19%. But and her OB rate, I don't have her in accuracy because her OB rate is a .12 and her fairway hits are 68%, which is pretty good. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. My 4th pick, I have Jessica Wiese, who I have her for accuracy. She's got a 68% fairway hit, a better OB rate than Haley King. Again, I don't know without knowing specifically what's going on, it's hard to tell. What the format is, it's really hard to tell. For Paige's last 2 picks, we have Lisa Fakis, I think, and she's going to be doing putting. Pretty solid putter, kind of one of the only spots she fits left there. She doesn't have as big of an arm as Deanne Carey from what I remember, and Deanne Carey they're both good. I'm taking some guesses here. I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Paige and Catrina to see who they would pick. And the last pick that Catrina Allen would have, I have is Rebecca Cox, and she would be doing distance. Her putting percentage is actually the worst. I misspoke earlier. I think I said Kona was the worst. Rebecca Cox is the worst at 48% from C1X and 10% from Circle 2. So I guess you can make a case that they're pretty similar. Circle 2, they're all pros. Circle 1, that's a rough percentage there. Her fairway hits are fine, 65%. Her OB rate is not great at a .11. So, yeah, that's kind of who I think. So to recap this, we have Team Paige Pierce. In distance, Paige Pierce, Deanne Carey. Putting, Missy Gannon, Lisa Fakis. Accuracy, Kona Panis, and Sarah Hokum. For Team Catrina Allen, we have Haley King and Rebecca Cox doing distance. Putting is Owen Scoggins and Heather Young. And for accuracy, we have Catrina Allen and Jessica Wiese. I think, just kind of going out there in terms of doubles partners, I think Paige and Sarah Hokum, Paige and Missy Gannon would be a good pairing. I think Kona and Sarah Hokum would be good, and Lisa Fakis and Deanne Carey. Just kind of going out, just trying to think of their strengths and weaknesses together. I think that would make them a solid team. The one thing I don't know as well as all these women on tour is the chemistry between them all. So I could, I don't know if there's bad blood between some of the pairings that I made or not, but there's nothing that stands out to me that says like, ooh, that is a really, really bad idea. I think Owen and Haley King would be really good, as well as Catrina Allen and Heather Young. Just between those four women, that's a solid. And then you have Rebecca Cox and Jessica Wiese. I think those would be the pairings. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Those are just off the top of my head, trying to see where we're at. Moving on to the MPO, we have Eagle McMahon as the captain, and we also have Calvin Heimberg. For the FPO, I do want to add, Kristen Tatar is the only person confirmed not coming because she would have to show up and then kill 2 weeks before Las Vegas Challenge, plus traveling restrictions that would kind of mess things up. She was planning on going to Disc Golf Con, but since that was canceled, I know they say postpone, but if you have an annual event, you don't really postpone it. You just cancel it and come back next year. Anyways, off my soapbox. So those are that. What's going on there? On the men's side, you don't have Ricky and you don't have Paul Macbeth. So that's kind of what's going on there. Which means Ezra Aderhold got pulled up and, who was the other one? Gannon Burr got pulled up and into this event. So you have the team captains, Eagle McMahon and Calvin Heimberg. Assuming same issues, same things as the women. Again, we don't know exactly what distance, putting, and accuracy really means. Distance is probably just like, okay, throw far, dare. Okay. I have Eagle McMahon picking first. And Eagle is going to take Kevin Jones and put him in distance. I have Eagle putting himself in putting only because of his shoulder injury. I don't know where he's at. If his shoulder is fine, if he can rip a disc like that, I completely expect him to take the distance. But I don't know. I'm going off the assumption that he does not have the distance and he does not want to hurt his shoulder before the season starts. So that's where I'm going. I'm putting Eagle at putting. I have Calvin Heimberg in accuracy. On Calvin's first pick, I have him taking Drew Gibson to fill that distance role, which is a great idea, in my opinion. That's what I went with. He's trying to take that role and try to fill that, give him the best shot at winning. Kevin Jones can still rip the disc pretty far, got him in distance as well. Calvin's second pick is Ezra Aderhold, the man with the biceps, the guns, the disc keep flying out of sheer terror that he will destroy them if they do not fly far enough. Ezra Aderhold will be in distance. He can rip a disc too. Like most of these guys out here can rip a disc. So the distance line, not distance, is like, that was kind of my afterthought ish. I kind of looked at their putting percentages. Like Eagles putting is phenomenal. And speaking of putting, I have Eagle taking Gannon Burr second in his second pick and putting him also in putting, where Eagle is the top putter at 89%. Gannon Burr is right there at 87% from, these are the Circle 1 stats. Circle 2, Eagle is 32 and Gannon is 29. Those two are the best so far. And they also have some pretty solid arms. I have Kyle Klein going third as one of the Crush boys. I have him in distance as well. Also a phenomenal putter, 85 and 25, like really solid putter there. For Calvin Heimberg's third and fourth picks, I have him taking, I forgot how to count, 1, 2, 4, 6. Oh, wow, what was I doing? Man, I don't even know how to count to 5. I have Calvin, 1, 2, 4. Okay. I have him taking James Conrad as his third pick and putting him in putting. I mean, from distance, James Conrad is phenomenal. Like, honestly, Eagle, Gannon, Kyle, James, Adam Hams, Calvin Heimberg, all phenomenal putters. Like, it's just, you can really put those guys anywhere. For his fifth, oh, God, counting is hard. For his fourth pick, I have him taking Adam Hams and throwing him in putting as well. Just kind of see the theme I went with here. It's one of those, like, you get in and it's like, all right, you know, is there a run on putters or whatever? You know what I mean? For picks 4 and 5 for Eagle, I have him taking Matty O and Chris Dickerson. And it doesn't really matter, snake draft, you know, whoever, whichever. Both for accuracy, both phenomenally accurate. Calvin Heimberg, accuracy, taking Nico LaCastro as the last pick. I feel like Nico LaCastro is going to be the last pick in the MPO. He is someone that the guys don't all get along with, and I could see that. So it'll be interesting. I think, honestly, I think one of the funny things would be is if you had Gannon Burr and Nico LaCastro as a doubles partner, just for the fact that that group would take forever. But that is not exactly what's going on. I haven't really put much thought into this. I would think that someone like James Conrad and Drew Gibson would make a good pairing. Ezra and Calvin Heimberg would be good, and then Adam Hams and Nico LaCastro. Those are the last two. I think Eagle and Kyle Klein would be fantastic together. Chris Dickerson and Matty O would actually probably be really good too. Distance-wise, they might hurt a little bit, but their accuracy would probably save them. And then you have Kevin Jones and Gannon Burr. That's kind of where I'm at there. We'll find out here in about 2 weeks. They are going to live stream this. And so I do plan to kind of companion stream it, watch it, and give you my real-time takes, hot takes, fresh off the presses, right there, trying to figure out exactly what is going on. Who knows? It's going to be great. This is a much better format than the All Star format from last year. Last year's All Star format was kind of rough, to say the least, but they took that feedback, they took that criticism, and then they changed things for the better. We'll honestly see how this goes. I would have loved to have seen Kristen Tatar at this event. Would have loved to have seen Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki there, but, you know, Paul isn't headed out that way until later, and Ricky wants to get his bag set for Las Vegas, and I can't blame it. While he was with Latitude before, he still has to relearn discs. It's been a couple of years since he's thrown any Trilogy plastic, so that's kind of how that goes. that seems to about do it for the show today. I want to thank you all for watching, for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Joe's Disc Golf, Facebook.com/Joe's Disc Golf, joesdiscgolf.com. Got new stuff coming up all the time there. Trying to get some helpful shoulder, elbow, hand, wrist injury prevention stuff that you can do to take your level of play up a notch or two. Who knows? I don't know. Could happen, could not. But that does it for about today. Don't forget, you can also, if you love the sound of my voice and love watching me on YouTube, you can watch me talk with Ben and RJ about who knows what. We talk about the most random crap and just have fun talking about disc golf on Half in the Bag Disc Golf Podcast. You can find that on anchor.fm/Half in the Bag Disc Golf DG. Or you can find us on Twitter, Half in the Bag DG. And that does there's also halfinthebagdg.com. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Joe's Disc Golf, Half in the Bag DG. That about does it. So thank you all. I want to make sure that I thank Treesus for having some great tree kicks this weekend, and repent and reflect because I definitely transgressed against Treesus, given the kicks that I got deeper into the woods. Thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you all and talk to you all in the next show. I've been Joe, you've been awesome, and I'll see you all later.